So, hi everyone. It's lovely to see such an audience already waiting. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Pinky Daga. I'm CEO for Thrive Art and Soul. And today with me, I'm so excited to share that I have Laura and Isabelle Hof. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Pinky. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here with
Yes.
you. I really hope that we can give some good tips and really give some value to everybody that is watching.
So I'm absolutely sure that you'll be able to do that. Just so for those of you who don't know exactly, so Laura and Isabella are both daughters of Wim Hof. Wim Hof is our very famous, most popularly known as the Iceman, who has completely devised the Wim Hof method of breathing, and it has been showing spectacular results worldwide. So today, both Isabella and Laura are here to share some really good tips, tricks on how we can use the method to combat the pandemic that is kind of swallowing the whole world right now. And so, just to let you all know, I met Laura back in October at our Global Festival of Spiritual Sciences, and she was absolutely fantastic. Not only was her presentation point on, but she really excited everyone there because we did actual live ice baths. And all of us, I think there was maybe Laura more than 100 plus people, and we were all able, yeah, in like broken, but yeah, in batches, but we were all able to do the sustain ourselves with the help of the breathing technique in ice water for almost like not even ice water, just ice, plain ice, for more than 3 minutes each. So I can tell you from personal experience that this method really, really works. Laura, you manage a lot of your father's work, as does Isabella. Isabella is the author of one of the books as well. And you both are certified teachers for the Wim Hof method, I believe, right? And Isabella, you have written a book on the method as well. The name is, sorry, I forgot the name. What's the name of the book?
It is, yeah, it's called Wim Hof Method Explains, but it's actually more, yeah, a little syllabus. So it was more an essay, and I wrote it on that moment that actually the method was still not out there. And
Ah,
my brother asked me, hey, people are getting more interested and we need a document to
right,
explain what method is.
right,
And while
right.
I was writing it, I
Yeah,
remember to research for more information about the method,
yeah.
and there was none. There was like almost nothing, no information about breathing, not much information about the cold. So it was pretty, yeah, intense to
Yeah.
write it. And right now you have tons of information and new science, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
yeah.
tell me a little bit about your journey with your father and the method, and how did you two come into being such an integral part of his organization and his work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is really a crazy story. Of course, we are daughters of Wim Hof, of the Iceman. So you can imagine that as a child, or as our childhood was quite special. We had a
Mhm.
very special father that was always doing yoga, breathing techniques, going into the cold, taking ice dips in the middle of winter. And this was for us normal practice. This is what we saw. And this is also the father that we always had. So it's just a sort of yogi, as I always tell it, with 4 kids, because our mother died at a very young age. It also was the beginning of the search of my father to really go deeper with these practices, to
Yeah.
really enhance them, to really nail them down to sort of a set of very simple tools and techniques to really connect the body and the mind into the deepest layers of our physiology, of our brain. And so this is something that, yeah, we were raised with. Only later on did my brother come together with my father, and my brother has more of a business mind. So he studied more management. My father always was doing crazy records, had all kinds of managers, and that's pretty much how he made his money as well.
Right.
And then those two, they came together only very late.
Yeah.
And they started really the method, which was the techniques that my father used to practice his whole life and perfected during 30 years.
Wow.
So it began
that-
as a tiny little company,
Yeah.
and slowly but surely it grew. And all of a sudden, yeah, more people, there was more to do. So more people had to join, sort of. And my brother, we always we're tight knit. We're really a family.
Yes, you
always
mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a very strong bond, and everything we always did together. So trickling down, we came to the company. Yeah, you want to add these?
Yeah, no, yeah, just like adding as well, like the first exposure of the methods, or bring them, like the techniques of my father as a method. It started actually with my brother thinking of like, hey, we should do actually workshops, Wim Hof Method workshops. And there were like 8 people at those workshops in the beginning.
Right.
And then from there, it actually grew more as a method. And then my brother first asked my little brother as well to work for the company. We were just doing, like we have like we did have our own work, and so did our own stuff. And then he asked me and Laura as well to just write some things, or have some, like doing some other things, but smaller things. And slowly, as the company built, he asked us to have a position as well. And then Laura had her contribution, her responsibilities, and I had my responsibilities. And slowly, organically, we just grew in the business as well.
Yeah, so that is the business side. And then with regards to like the practice of the method itself, I always did cold showers when I was very young, and I did them when working out. I always did it just to firm up my skin, actually, because it really worked. But it was also just a mood booster. And my father always used to say it's good for recovery. So I always did it and never had sourness, for example.
Yes.
And what I really notice now, looking back, is when I was very young, I never really noticed the change of the seasons from warm to cold, just because I was sometimes a t-shirt in the middle of autumn, which is quite strange because everybody wears jackets then. So sometimes I was looked at funny as well. And what are you wearing? But for me, it was I'm not cold. So that's just what is comfortable. And only later, I think, with 23 years old, I began the first time to do the breathing techniques together with my father. He was visiting me at home, and I had a little night out, had a few drinks. I had a great time, but not in the morning. So it was horrible. And my father was sleeping over, and he just told me in the morning, like, what happened? What did you do? I told him about going out. Sit with me and do the breathing techniques. And we did 3 rounds, very deep rounds. And that was the moment that I looked at my father with surprise and awe and told him, oh my God, this shit works. Because it really worked, and it was instant.
Yeah.
And it is now, I know that it detoxifies your system. So it is also very logical.
Yeah.
But that was really the moment that I really felt how powerful this technique could be.
Yes.
That is, of course, with the mindset that my father always had, that he raised us with. So these 3 elements, it's the cold exposure, the breathing, and the mindset, these together, that is the method, of course, which we will also talk about a little bit more afterward.
Yes, afterwards.
But that is, that is the moment that really clicked for me.
Yeah. Well, you inspired me so much when you were back here in India, and I've been doing the method almost every day since then.
Wow.
And it's really amazing. I mean, colds, coughs, any kind of even heaviness in the head, any kind of, if you're feeling stressful, anxious, it goes away almost immediately.
Wow.
And I have been advising people based on your story, which you shared with me earlier. Whenever anyone says, "Oh, I have a hangover," I know what to do. Do it.
That's amazing, because
it really works. Yeah.
It really works. So that's been amazing. What would you say? You've been with your father for so long. Where did his initial inspiration come from? Like, where did he learn about breathing to begin with? And especially in India, this is a very relevant question because
Yes.
we have yogis we've known for hundreds and thousands of years who've been doing so many different methods of breathing, So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he came to India, if he picked something up here, or where did his initial thing come from?
Yeah, well, Wim was always like he was like really he loved to read, so he read a lot about like Buddhisms, but a lot of yogis as well, a lot of like not Westerns books. So
Esoteric.
I think he had already had some inspiration, and he actually wrote as well a book about the systems in the body when he was 23 years old, hypothalamus, breathing, all the organs.
Really? 23?
Yes, and we still have that book actually. It's super interesting, and as well, that was like his thoughts, his like what came in his consciousness. And he practiced yoga, for example, as well, years. When he was 23, 24, he did positions that right now you have to be an advanced practitioner to do it.
More than advanced, because an advanced doesn't do that either.
It's true. Like right now, it's mainstream, no, in Europe, like yoga, meditation. But when he did it, he was an outcast for sure, like outcast. But I do think that he already had some inspiration about the possibilities in that, in different disciplines, different cultures, and as well India. But the first time actually when he practiced with the cold when he was 17 years old. So he was in Amsterdam and just walking through a park. It's called the Beatrix Park here. And there was a moment he thought like, I have to jump in the cold water. And he was in his head a lot. And I thought like, I'm going to jump in the cold water. So he took off his clothes, jumped in the cold water. And what you normally experience is a breathing reflex, like, like this, because like, of course, you put your body in a panic state. So, and then he remembered that it was very intense, but he really liked the feeling, especially afterwards. And then from there on, he thought like, I'm going to practice more in the cold. And then like, he is always very in tune with his body. So from there on, like he thought like, I have like my breath is influencing how I feel in a stressful situation. So from there on, he started to experiment with his breath and the cold and the breath and the cold. And as well the body, like with yoga positions, etc. So he never had a teacher, like, hey, you have to do this, this. But yeah, for sure, like he read a lot of books. He had some information going on, and he was very in tune with his body to develop these techniques more.
And of course, pranayama techniques, he does know about it, and also he was inspired by it as well. But it's just that there were certain way of dealing with the pranayama techniques that didn't work for the Western person. The Western person a lot is in his head, is constantly in a stress mode. So it's on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. And what he did was really adapt them pretty much to the Western person, that it works more efficiently for him and for the Western person. That's really how he explained it as well. So it's very strong, and then that's a little bit of a different way that he dealt with it. And the way that he learned that, amongst other, it was also dealing with the cold. So in the cold, the gas reflex that you had and the stressful response that you have, but going into that consciously, that's what you learn with the Wim Hof method. But going into stressful situations, going into the stress, but doing it consciously with a conscious mind, and thereby having control over your state.
Right.
So,
and one add-on, like Wim was always very inspired by India. He actually wanted, with all of the 4 children, to go to India, but he didn't have the money for it. So in the end, he ended up with my little brother, or the eldest brother actually, going to India. But it was always his idea to go there, because like that country, your country, inspired him a lot.
We still want to go with everyone.
Yes, now, so I'm going to hold you to this now. I'm going to ask all 4 of you with your father, and all the children, the whole family, and we would be so honored to host you here.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. So, before we get to the, how this corona can really help, what is it that you think is the most, important attitude we should have towards the method? And, how do we get to the state where, we think it's so important to, be inspired to include it in our life? What is the message you could give
Yeah.
that we really inspire people to, be.
It's the, I think for me, it's like, so these techniques, you have it always in you. These are instruments which you not have to physically take. You just have it. So if you know it, you can just like do a breathing technique, for example, laying in bed without using any device. So it's using your body to actually do it. So I think that's very powerful, that you don't need anything else. And it's so simple, but it changes your state directly. Like in 5 minutes, you already feel it. Or a couple of minutes, you already feel it. But 20 minutes, you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's, for me, that is very powerful.
Yeah, of course, we have this pandemic and you have COVID. And one way that the Wim Hof method can really help with it is that it has been shown in scientific research that it strengthens the immune system. And so that is one thing that is super important if you think about COVID. And the second thing I really want to point out is we cannot really change this situation that we're in. So the environment that we're in is very stressful. People are in a very stressful situation. How do you cope with that? How do you deal with that? Well, with the Wim Hof method, what you do is you learn how to deal with that stressor by going within. And we do that with a couple of simple tools that you have at disposal whenever you need to, whenever you want to, and you can use them whenever you need to use them. So I think that is very important. It will alter your state positively and also chemically whenever you want. And that this is so important to, I think, stress out that you can use these tools whenever you feel stressed, have a little bit of anxiety, you feel that the world is overwhelming you, the situation is overwhelming you, you cannot deal with the situation. Do these techniques and you will instantly feel, I promise you, you will instantly feel an enormous change in your physiology, in the way you see the world. And that is also how you're going to deal with that stress, how you're going to deal with that world, how you're going to move through that world. So it changes everything around you. But maybe we can talk also a little bit about how it strengthens the immune system, because that is very important to point out. This is something that has been shown in scientific research that the Wim Hof method does so effectively. So maybe
especially in view of in COVID. And we all, like, now even WHO is saying that we have to just learn how to live with the situation and strengthen our immunity, so that eventually, even if we do get it, it just goes like a regular flu, and then we then eventually develop the herd immunity.
Exactly.
So then it's no longer such a threat. So how can this Wim Hof method help us to do this? Very excited to share this information with
for sure, because like when
great question.
And when this like what you see as well, what this COVID does with our immune system, like right now you want to have those tools that influences your immune system. So you want to have something that you have a grip over this situation, of course. And if you look at the scientific paper, like these techniques influences your immune system, makes it stronger, and you can get rid of things in the body that don't belong there. So actually, like I always say, like how you can see it is that you have the physiological components, what it actually does in your body, and the mental components. So with the physiological components, like what was actually proven with the Radboud University is that they injected an E. coli bacteria, a bacteria that you normally feel very sick. So when they get it injected in your body, you feel sick, you get fever, because your body is reacting against it. And so normal person who didn't practice, he got sick. You saw that as well, like during the study. But the group of people who did practice the methods didn't feel sick at all. And you saw it as well in the blood. So you saw a lowering of inflammation in the blood. So and higher inflammation, yeah, you feel then sick, etc. But you saw as well the activation of the little white blood cells and the leukocytes. So you actually increase the army in your body to get rid of things that don't belong in your body. So that is something that in line with COVID, you have to know you have something that you can do for your immune system. But it's, of course, if you have it. But in the longer run, what you actually do is while you strengthen your immune system, because this is a type of short-term stress. Short-term stress, you activate your immune system. And in the long run, like your immune system is better equipped to handle things that don't belong in the body. Because what you see as well, like who gets the COVID, like who dies because of COVID, that's mostly the elderly people. Because the immune system, the function of the immune system decreased already. So with this, you have, you create more resilience for sure.
So you are going to tell us what are the benefits of doing the Wim Hof method for the pandemic and 3 ways to tackle the pandemic with the method. So it'd be amazing to hear about that.
So 3 ways?
3 ways to tackle
3 ways.
the method.
Well, you know,
or it can be just 1 way. It's okay.
No, of course, if you think about all of the benefits that the Wim Hof method has, there are many. Maybe we can just briefly touch upon that. Isa already talked about improving the immune system, really giving it a boost, making sure that it's in a state of readiness whenever COVID would enter the body, and else it has less of a chance to enter the body. So that is one, but it also enhances your mood. It helps you sleep better. It gives you a much more balanced state. You are less reactive because of that balanced state. So these are kind of the benefits that you really want. They are sort of it's an emotional regulator, which I always say that the Wim Hof method is emotional regulator. It gives you an instant mood boost. It is also anxiety reducing, and so in that sense, and it's a stress management tool. So whenever you feel stressed, you do the Wim Hof method, and it makes you deal with the stress much better. And that is because we learn with these techniques to really go into stress moments. That is what we do with the breathing and the cold exposure. And then the third pillar is the mindset. So we have 3 components that make up the Wim Hof method. Those together are very important to really enhance each other and making you a much more balanced person, better resilient. Your mind is much more at peace. So that I think is very important. Maybe we can touch upon the breathing, why it is so important.
Yes. Yeah, and I want to add up as well, like the mood regulation, like for example, why your mood is so important for a good immune system. It's not only like the body, but it's as well like your psychological being, like your mindset. And they did like quite some studies on that as well, like how important your mood, like being alive and kicking, is good for the immune system. So at one study was with mice, done with mice, and they as well injected those mice with the E. coli, and one group of the mice, so there were 2 groups. One group of mice, they as well injected the ventrum tegmentum, that's the reward system in the brain, and you saw that they had way better influence over the immune system than the mice who weren't influenced or weren't injected as well in the ventrum tegmentum. So like feeling good, having this dopamine, a good dopamine system is beneficial for you and for your mood.
It's of course, if you think about what the techniques, breathing, cold exposure, and mindset. With a strong mindset, you do the breathing, and the breathing, it is an autonomic process. So breathing, you don't have to think about it. You always breathe during the day. That is the beauty about breathing, because yes, it is an autonomic process, and it is linked to that those autonomic processes, those that are also working unconsciously. So they're working whenever you don't even have to think about it. The beauty about breathing as well, it's an indicator of your state. So when you breathe shallowly, most of the time it's because you're stressed, you have anxiety, you're not feeling well. But the breathing, it's an indicator of your state, but it's also a director of your state. So there's one thing that you can control when you want, and it also directs the state that you want to go into. So if you feel stressed, just change your breathing. Just make it just do conscious breathing, deep breathing. And what happens? You instantly, you change the chemical balance in your body, and that makes you feel much more at ease, much more calm. So
and loving, like gratitude. You feel instantly that feeling of gratitude afterwards.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so important to breathe properly. And of course, you have the Wim Hof Method breathing, which is very strong, very rapid, very deep. And we're actually a little bit stressful as well, because you go into your stressful mode, but you only do it for a quick second, just to give it a boost, just to snap your system out of that constant in between stressful states to go back to your natural balanced states. So that is why we do the Wim Hof Method breathing in the way we do the breathing. Very strong, very deep, and then we deplete the body of oxygen, sort of, having the carbon dioxide go up, and that gives you a sort of a stress boost. It's called eustress. So it's a controlled, induced stressful state which kicks you out of that stressful state and goes back to its natural balance. So that's why we do the Wim Hof Method breathing. What I would also advise is just to do some conscious deep breathing during the whole day. So maybe that's not Wim Hof Method, but I do think that it's very good to do, because you are the controller of your state in that way. So deep breathing, just really mindful, conscious breathing during the day can really alter your states. It's just because you're changing the chemical balance in your body. It's just the pH level, it goes up. So you're more alkaline, that makes everything flow better, your blood flow flows better, neurotransmitters go, everything just works better, and that makes you a much more balanced person. So that's why continue?
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to go back to your questions.
Sorry.
The good answers of Laura as well. So 3 tips actually for a better immune system related to the Wim Hof Method, of course, is the breathing exercise. It activates the immune system quick. And then as well, I think it's a very good add-on of Laura to say, like, be conscious of your breath during the day, different moments, deep breathing, that's very good. So you will have a more peaceful state of mind. And then as well, do the cold shower after a warm one. That's very easy. You have to shower either way, but turning it to cold at the end, start with 15 seconds and build up to a minute. You will give a kick to your systems as well. That will be good for your immune system.
Sorry, what is the science? I just wanted to ask one quick question, is what is the science between combining the breathing and with the cold? Is it like a deliberate stressor to the system so that you know how to handle? I mean, how does that work?
Actually, everything is stress. So the breathing, that is stress. The cold, that is also stress. But personally, I would think you train a little bit of different systems. In my opinion, that's, but you can go more into the science, Isa. The breathing, you really reset your nervous system. That's how I see it. So you have your two systems. You have your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. You need both to work equally well, because the parasympathetic that you need to go to rest state, and then the sympathetic you need to go when you have a stressful situation, but a very urgent stressful situation. What you don't want is to be there the whole time. That is what we are a lot of times. We are in the stressful situation consistently, thereby creating cortisol. That's a long-term sort of stress hormone. No, we want it. We want there to be there when it's needed, when we're attacked by a tiger, when we have a deadline, when we need to be coping with the situation as is. So that is why it's so important. Yes.
Yeah, and it both works. There are different studies, like for example, why the Wim Hof Method grew so, like the study of the E. coli bacteria. So these people were trained during that 10 days. So 4 days they were in Poland, training really hard with Wim, climbing Mount Everest, and then going back, they had to finish up with cold showers and doing the breathing exercises. And in the university, while they were injecting the E. coli bacteria, they of course did the breathing. So the next step was like, okay, what did really work? Was it the cold? Was it the breathing? Was it both? Yeah. So there is a follow-up study done. It's still not published, but I can say, like, actually both is best, but apart they work as well.
Yeah, if you think about it, as I just briefly mentioned, the nervous system that you do with the breathing, you really tap into the autonomic nervous system and really give it a reset, sort of. What you do with the cold showers, you give a reset to your cardiovascular system. So we have 125,000 kilometers of blood veins, and that work together with the heart, pumping 6 liters of blood the whole time throughout your whole system. Now this blood is carrying oxygen, is carrying carrying all your nutrients, and also takes all of the waste from your system. So how important is it that we have a fantastic working inner cardiovascular system? That's just the highway of your body, as I speak. You also give that a reset when you take a cold shower. So I think it's very logical, if I hear this also from Isa, that doing both the breathing and the cold showers, they both give a reset to the system. Actually also sometimes similar. If you ask Wim, probably he would say also similar, but on its own, that is the most logical, I think. Nervous system, cardiovascular system, they both work very optimal. Together, it's stronger. And of course, both, you need a strong mindset. If you want to go to the cold, it's not a lot of fun for the first couple of times.
No.
You don't really want to do it. Actually, you don't want to go into that stressful mode. You just want to avoid it. But what if you do it? You go into that stressful moment consciously, you take that cold shower, you feel so invigorated. So it's a mind exercise as well. It strengthens the mind in that way. And it is, as I see it, a little loop. So you come into a positive loop by doing these exercises. And if you do them regularly, in a set way, I can assure you, you will feel much better.
Oh yeah, the cold showers. Now, once you get used to them, they're no longer stressful. They're amazing.
Amazing. And it's logical as well, because you get such a good energy boost from it.
It's a boost.
You get energy, but you can also
and the muscle relaxing after that. It's just amazing. I mean, you have like zero soreness in the body, and so, just a little bit before we get into even more deeper, tips on how we can include these methods in our daily life. Can you speak a little bit about you guys and your father takes expeditions out into the cold, right? Now, they've become quite popular, but I think many people in India still don't know exactly what is this expedition, what does it entail, what is the kind of training involved, and be so fascinating to hear about that. So.
Yeah. So they are, yeah, of course, they're. It's so funny because every time when I see those pictures and videos which people make on the Mount Śnieżka on top of those mountains, I'm like, whoa, that's quite intense.
Yeah.
But when you're on that, it's like, okay, this is what it is. You deal with it.
Yeah,
it's like such a different view over it. But like, yeah, it looks quite intense, and it is probably as well quite intense for an untrained person. So what we do during a week, so it's a week time that we bring people to Poland, and we train them into doing the breathing exercises, and as well doing yoga exercises during the days. And there's a beautiful waterfall there, a cold waterfall, where we train them in adapting to those stressful situations. And yeah, we do this 4 days, and then the last day we are going up to the mountain and climb a mountain in shorts. And then some people will say, I'm not sure if I can do it. But in the end, actually, it's
amazing.
Yeah, everybody goes.
Yeah,
so we had groups of 100 people, with the eldest person of 70 plus, a lady, going in front and everybody behind her. But it's amazing. And it's like, as well, we do a lot of preparations, the mind preparations. We give talks, because the mind can be very tricky. Like when we did our training in Poland, I trained with the cold, but like I know there is one exercise, and I always saw the exercise. I thought like, whoa, that's a very intense one.
Which one?
One moment you go with the group outside, and then you say like, okay, guys, we are going to the little river outside of the hotel. So take each other's hands, and we are going to walk to that place. But the teachers won't say what we are going to do, but I know the exercise. So when I heard about it, I was like, wow, we're going to do that. And then when you're at the lake, you have to jump in the lake, wait for everybody, and then you go up. And you have to do that on bare feet. That's well.
That one was.
So and it's cold. It's really cold. Yeah. And it's snowing everywhere. So it's cold. It's snowing everywhere. So remember, just us walking on a group, holding hands, going to the river. And I thought like, oh my God, I'm already cold. And that's only going towards the river. And I thought, how can I handle this? And that's my mind going like this, crazy, having this negative self-talk, like, I don't know if I can do that. Like later on, I will have freezing feet. And then I remember jumping off the rock into the river, going out. And then slowly my body got adapted. And I remember that going back, it was actually easier than other way around. So, and then my mind was quiet. The body was warmed up, because your body knows what to do a lot of times. But it's the mind that influences or holds you. Yeah. So for me, that was a very interesting insight into what I'm capable of, actually.
It's beautifully what Isa says. It's a mind exercise. Yes. So if we are talking about conquering a mountain at the end of the week, yes, a lot of people will say, I don't think that I can do that at the beginning of the week. But at the end of the week, they will be on that mountain. And it is an inner exercise, actually.
That's why we sometimes say, like, you have to climb your own inner mountain.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really agree. So is the expedition always in the same place? I believe it's in different parts of the world, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, like the ones we organize is normally in Poland. In Poland, in the beautiful mountains there, the giant mountains of Poland. And right now, this year, we are organizing it most probably in Spain, actually. This is like, as well, we have a relationship with Spain, etc., in the Pyrenees. So it's going to be cold there as well. But normally, every year we have done it in Poland. So we still have some weeks in Poland,
Right.
but next to it, we're going to Spain.
Spain, nice.
Not the warm Spain.
Not the beaches.
Not the beaches. No, not the beaches.
No. To the
But maybe
mountains.
afterwards for a treat, you can go visit the beaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how would we incorporate these routines into our daily life?
Yes.
I think that's most important. You know?
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think these are very simple techniques. So we do have a Wim Hof Method app. You can download that and it's very easy to do. But if you're just at home, just to explain briefly how you would doing a daily routine, you wake up and one of the first things that you can do is doing the breathing exercises on an empty stomach, because then all of your energy, you can really focus to those breathing techniques and you can go deeper into your physiology that way, making the effect, only enhancing the effect. Then after you're done, you can pretty much go throughout your day. If you like, if you go to the shower directly, you go to the shower and what do?
Cold shower.
Well, you can begin, just for beginners, you begin with your warm shower as always, or the normal shower, whatever you do. And then you, at the end, you turn it down to cold as you can. The contrast will make it cold. And then you begin with 15 seconds. And every day you can build it up 5 seconds more until you reach the 2-minute mark or 3 minutes, whatever feels good. Try to just tune in to the body and rinse off from the neck down. So that is very important. What you really feel in the beginning, that it's very uncomfortable, it's because all of those little veins that you have, they have little tiny muscles and they have to begin working at it. It's just like going to the gym. So in the beginning, it's a little bit hard and it doesn't feel that comfortable. But after a couple of days, you won't go without any cold shower anymore. You really will learn to love it just because you feel so good. So that is really what I really would want to advise. For those that if you do these exercises, you know, you always have a strong mindset. So you really do it. You don't think about it too much. You just do it. And by doing these exercises, you also enhance your mindset. So don't go too much into your thinking brain all the way, you're planning and this and that. It's too much that you cannot cope with it. No, by doing these exercises, you learn to really tune into the body, really to go into the body. And that is really where you have the magic, your systems that work automatically, they know exactly what to do. You just have to let them do what they are built for.
And
so
and as well, like one tip I do want to say, like for as well beginners, start with breathing through the nose, because then you're more in control, and really go through the belly and then the chest. So fill it up. It's like I see sometimes people breathing like really fast and up here. So you still, I see that still people need to understand the breathing mechanics. So breathing to the belly, through the nose, and then try to build up that relationship. Be very conscious about the breath. Try to really make that contact with the breath. So that's a very important,
You guys sent us a short clip, the tutorial. Can we play it right now, just so people get some clarity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. If we can just play this quickly. So guys, this is of course available on YouTube. And not only is he there on YouTube, but his app is amazing and it's a free app. So that's the one that I
Great.
So, go ahead, play, please.
Here we are. We are going to do the breathing. This is the first video of the mini class. The breathing, how to change the chemistry. You know, stress, oxidative stress, it comes through the shallow breathing and a lot of stress coming in, so much pressure on our lives, and that deregulates our chemistry. Now, I found a very effective way how to deal with this deregulative through stress coming in chemistry inside of our physiology. body and mind are suffering normally of this wrong chemistry. And with this one, with these exercises I'm going to show, you are able to regulate your chemistry in the depth. We have shown this in the university studies, and right now, here it is. It's going to come. Don't do this in a swimming pool. Don't do this in a car. Do it like me. I'm gonna do this lying here, do it in your bed, on the sofa, wherever, because this is very strong. Very, very strong. And it is able to knock you out of your consciousness. Just for a couple of seconds. But imagine what happens if you are in a car or in a swimming pool doing this. Don't do this. We are learning how to go deeply within our physiology, the way nature meant it to be, and that is going past our normal conditioning. Okay, you can all read it up. Go into it, make your notes, your retention times, see what happens with your body and with your mind. The thing is, this is a very effective way to become alkaline. We have shown this in the studies. So, become the master over your chemistry. Do this 3 rounds in the morning, and during the day, your blood is right on. This exercise goes as follows. I'm sitting here, but I'm gonna lie because then I'm most relaxed. So I suggest you do this in your bed or on the sofa. If you feel really relaxed sitting, that's okay. So what I do is, I'm relaxed. I'm gonna lie down. I got a belly. I got a chest. I got my head. And with the three parts, actually the whole body, not only the lungs are breathing, we are able to manipulate by belly breathing is deeper part of the lungs. The chest is the upper part of the lungs. That is deep breathing. And even within the head, we are able to receive more oxygen in the head, in the brain. It's logical because it's part of your body and oxygen gets in there. We all found this out. So belly, chest, head, that's the way it goes, like this. And letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Not fully out, but fully in. Once again. Fully out means there's still more coming out. Don't do that. Just letting go. So, fully in. Then letting go. Once you get this rhythm, you do this 30 times. Your head becomes lightheaded. You become loose in the body. It feels like whoa, tingling in the hands and feet. It's all possible, and it's all okay. Breathe toward it. Intensify those symptoms. Lightheadedness, loose in the body and tingling, make it stronger, because that's your charge. And then you go 30 times, 40 times, it's okay. Fully in, letting go. Don't think in time, don't think in numbers, think in intensity, think in feeling, feel. Follow the flow of your breath. Then at 30, you take them fully in, let go. You could time it after the exhalation. Let go. You stop breathing. Press the time device, stopwatch, and go. and feel. Round number 1, you will be able to stay for 1 minute, 1.5 minutes without air in the lungs. Just round number 1. When you feel the urge to breathe after the exhalation and then staying in, stopping breathing, timing, you take the urge to breathe, okay? You take a breath, hold it, squeeze a little for 10 seconds, 15 seconds to your head, breath hold, and stop the timer, and then you let go. That is round number 1. Then we go again, round number 2. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. 30 times, 40 times. Whenever you feel lightheaded, loosen the body, tingling, okay, those are the symptoms. Intensify those symptoms by breathing toward it. Go with the flow, feel. And you feel charged. You feel very lightheaded, loosen the body, tingling, strong, that's a charge. And you take them in. You let it go. You stop. Time again and let it go. When you feel the urge to breathe again, fully in, hold 10 to 15 seconds. And then round number 2 is done. And then we go into round number 3. Same thing, only every time the retentions are longer because you bring in more oxygen, because you relax deeper every time, more and deeper, thus more oxygen is able to get in. And the retentions, that is the stopping of breathing after exhalation, will be longer and longer and longer. And as it is longer, it is because it goes deeper into the lymphatic system, then your chemistry becomes alkaline. More oxygen gets in, acidity goes out, alkalinity comes in. Amazing how simple and effective. After round 3, if you like to do, you do another round, like round number 4, because you love it, because you like it, because you feel it. You will understand high on your own supply when you do this. Round number 3, round number 4, high on your own supply. It's going to be great. To do the breathing best is a question a lot of time asked. I say on empty stomach in the morning before you go have breakfast. That's the great time to do it. Or whenever your stomach is empty and you feel, hey, I got some spare time, I don't feel so really good, I want to have some peace, go into your breathing on empty stomach, empty stomach, empty stomach. It's the best. Then you are able in 3 rounds to change your chemistry full on. Good luck. Hey guys, thanks for doing the breathing with me. It was great. So from here we go into the cold. The next video. I got a great exercise for that. I mean, the mystery of the cold is going to be revealed. Let's get into this. It's there. It's beautiful. Good luck.
Yeah, so that I think
I have to laugh.
that was
So
just
it's good to
amazing.
see Wim.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that clip with us. You know, I think that just clarified for everyone who it's their first time being introduced to this method, you know. So we have some questions coming in. If anybody would like to ask more questions, we can do that. So please go ahead, audience, ask us the questions. I have one while we're waiting for some questions to come in. Are there different levels? Like obviously these 3 rounds are the beginning level. And then is there different levels of breathing, and what's the method?
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, of course, there is the 3 rounds. That is the protocol. That's how you do it as a beginner. Personally, I have been doing them for quite some time, so I just go by feeling. So the rounds that I do, also sometimes the amount of breathing I do per round can differ based on the state that I am in. So I do that more based on feeling. But the protocol, Isa, and the more advanced.
Yeah. So like, for example, like what Laura is explaining, when somebody starts, we would advise like 3, max 4 rounds, breathing through the nose. So you will experience what it does with your body. But like for us, there is no dogma. Everybody is different. So you have to find out what works for you. And the idea is as well, instead of, okay, this is the protocol, it's very fixed for everybody, it's this. It's like, no, you have to feel, you have to really understand your body, listen to your body. And then sometimes like you do 5 rounds and it's better through the mouth because that works for you. But in the beginning, really, these breathing exercises can be very intense, and it depends on your physiology, how your body will react to it. So first things first, do like 3-4 rounds. And the next step, if somebody's advanced, we teach the power breathing as well. So instead of the retentions, there is like a short retention where you tighten up the muscles, and then you go in a new round. And that will create a very more intense feeling. Even more intense feeling.
Some people they call it the DMT breathing.
Yeah.
So
it see lights and stuff and visions. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
And then of course you have the cold exposure. In the beginning, we always advise to do some cold showers. Also when we have the ice bath coming your way. So when you do a workshop in the Wim Hof Method, there is always an ice bath involved, which is an enormous stressor. So we always advise them to rinse a little bit cold just the week before they do the ice bath. But the ice bath is something that you really have to conquer. It's really a mountain as well, in that sense, that you really have to conquer. So I would say that is quite advanced, but that is also something that we teach beginners to do. So
beginners like 2 minutes max. And then like if you're like more advanced, then you do it several times actually, going in, going out. Because as well with the cold, it's like, it's just a cold bath, but like everybody will react differently. So the building up is very important.
Yeah, it's very funny because Wim was here this morning in my house having tea on my balcony, and he was doing 70 minutes of an ice bath last week. 70 minutes, and he wants to do now 100 minutes. But you know, Wim does almost 2 hours. He had the record in ice water, so it's even different than ice cubes, because there's direct contact, but ice water with ice cubes, and the most direct contact you can have is 25 times faster. The heat releases when you are in contact with ice water instead of
just ice cubes.
It's just ice cubes or a cryo chamber or something like that. That is the guider of the heat.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah. So many world records already, right?
Yeah, that's his motivation as well. bit growing every day.
62. It's already 62, and he will not stop. I know him because that's just
it's mindset.
That's amazing. What an inspiration, you know.
Yeah, what an inspiration.
So we have a lot of questions just regarding the breathing. You know, how many total, and what about the mouth? So I'll ask you this question. So I'll just answer for guys, for the timing and for how many rounds. Just go either on the free YouTube link, just do the Wim Hof Method, the first link that comes up, or just download the app. It's a free app. It makes It times everything for you, including the retention. I have my children doing it with me. It's amazing. So, we won't get into those questions. But what is it? What I did also want to ask you is, what is the difference between just doing the nose or doing the nose and the mouth also? You know?
So with like the difference is that with the mouth, it goes quicker. It goes way quicker. So with the nose, you as well inhale nitric oxides. So like that's gives more a relaxed feeling of the body. So in a physiological state, there is as well a difference. So that's why we advise beginners breathing through the nose. So you'll be more in control.
Right. But then eventually we should do inhale and then exhale through the mouth.
Yeah, through the mouth, just like unforced through the mouth.
Right.
When you are a bit more in tune with your body, you understand it better.
Yeah.
That's the moment that you sort of decide what feels better for you. But in the beginning, it's always better just to go with the way that it's most controlled.
Right.
Just to do it. You are learning to find out what works for your body and how you tune in with your body in the beginning. It's just like a little child. It still needs to learn a lot of things before it can really go into the world, tackle great challenges. First, you do it with a bit of steps, then you go out and do whatever you want and whatever feels good. But you do it in the...
Figure it out.
I do, for example, both mouth and nose in the same session.
Whatever feels good. And if for some reason we can't do it in the morning, can we incorporate it at any point in time in the schedule?
Yes,
for sure. Yeah, and then just try to do it when your stomach is empty. That's the best way. So of course, like in the morning before breakfast, or like maybe before dinner. Like always think like that. Is the stomach?
When you have like a few hours gap between the meals and things like that.
Yeah, couple of hours, 3 hours to 2 hours before a meal. Then it's completely good. Yeah. So in the midday also, when you're a little bit stressed at work, you still have 2 hours to go before your lunch. Do the exercise, and you will really feel.
And if you can't sleep, for example, like it's like it's a sleep tea for me sometimes. If I can't sleep, I just do the breathing exercises, and then depending on where I am during the day, it works. I will get more active or more rest.
Right. Depending on what the mind needs at the time.
Yeah, depending on what the mind needs. Yeah, perfect.
That's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And do we have any YouTube or Facebook questions, guys? Then we can pull those up. Not seeing anything. Okay.
Can you please?
I got them, guys.
It will laugh as well.
No, it's all right. So, we can, if anything comes up, we can email and we can get you guys the answers later. Laura is always so sweet, so helpful, and so approachable that it's always. So before we end, any closing messages for our viewers?
I just would like to say I hope that we really gave some good tips for everybody to do. Just know that these are very simple techniques. So once you do that, you will really feel the difference very quickly. So I really would advise you just do them. And it feels so awesome that you will continue to do them. I promise. And if you are not convinced after a week doing them, you can send me a private email and I really will respond to you.
Oh, there's one quick question. I like this one. Somebody's questioning that is even in the heat in India, these methods are still safe to do, right? Even in the heat.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Always, of course, in a controlled
environment.
So controlled environment, but also in just a very relaxed state. Because of course, with heat, it's also an outside stressor. Heat, just as cold, it's a stressor. Right. So with heat as well, you are warming up the body as well. You're spiking up a lot of adrenaline. So just do it very calmly
And controlled.
and consciously.
And drink enough water.
Drink enough water.
Drink enough
Yes.
water. We do it, for example, we
Yeah.
have summer travels in Spain,
Yeah.
where it can be 35 degrees up to 38. And
Just
of
like
course,
this.
we try to do it in the morning, in the afternoon, so you can do it, practice it like that as well. Not like full blown sun. That's a bit maybe too intense for the body as well.
That would be too intense. Yeah.
A good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. So thank you again. And I mean, I personally completely recommend the method. It does wonders, so simple. And like they said, it's part of your body. You don't need any other devices. You just need a few minutes of time, a cold shower, and the right mindset. So it's as easy. It sounds so easy, and yet it's so profound. And Isabella, did you have any closing messages for us?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for inviting us, Pinky. We're always very fond and very willing as well to share this message, because these are tools which you have. You just need to know sometimes and need to practice. So feeling is understanding. That is the quote. So please try to understand by doing it, so you will feel it. So I promise, if you do this, if you take 15 minutes for yourself, practice the breathing, then you really understand what we were talking about. This is all words, etc.
It's a lot of words.
But in the end, it's you, and it's what you do actually for your health, for your mental health, for your physical health. And these are really powerful techniques which you can just do whenever.
Simple but effective, and that is really it. So they are so powerful, yes, but can they be so effective and so simple? Yes, they are very simple. So just do them and you'll see what we mean.
I mean, I could not agree more with your message, your inspiration. And what always inspires me about you, your father, is that you're so generous and giving with all this knowledge, with all of this research. So that is so touching. I'm always touched by this bond that you share, not only with each other, but how it extends to the rest of us. And all the people who've been touched by your father's methods, and the way you carry the message and teach it. So thank you. It has been a great honor, and we hope to see you and the entire family along with Wim in India.
To India.
I think we have to.
I think so. I'm gonna give him a call. I say, hey,
you know what? If you would call Pinky, we love you. So
I'm going to do it. And I will see you soon. And thank you again. Thank you so
much, Pinky.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.